right, today is November 9th, 2017. It is 3:02 p.m. here in Chicago. Looks like a lovely day outside. Okay, now let's see. Let me just post on Twitter, let everyone know that I'm now live. Okay. All right, I've got a call at 6, so we'll go for 3 hours today. Cruz, hello. Hey, thank you. 15 months in a row. Thanks so much for the support. Really appreciate it, as always. We are, oh man, getting so close. So today, what I want to do first is remove the lights. I think the floor lights in the Mandela room, they're a little bit too much. Take attention away from the Mandela base that I want people to look at. Oh, and something that's cool, of course, is I made a video about this weird bug that I fixed yesterday. People might be interested in that one. But yeah, I'm really enjoying these kind of like quick, short videos where it just explains something that's on my mind. I think the streaming's really helped with that. I think I'm a lot more comfortable in front of the camera and talking. One thing I've noticed, I do say so and you know a lot. So, you know, which I need to get better at. I think just generally speaking slower is going to be very helpful. Okay, let's go to this room. Now, there's not going to be a stream this weekend. It's not going to be a stream Saturday, Sunday. I am taking a short vacation just to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But it'll be nice to kind of get away, not be in front of a computer. I'm going to take the time to study Russian, read some books, go to a basketball game. Milwaukee Bucks versus Los Angeles Lakers. We're like way up. I think it's gonna be easier watching the TV than the players themselves. So let's wait for some people to filter in, and I want to talk about this topic that's on my mind. Hello, Bunasera. By the way, I'm really liking this format with the stream where I'm sort of like, hey, you know, here's just kind of something on my mind. It's kind of giving me just a channel to blab though. So I saw that game. Which game? No, I'm going to my first NBA game on Saturday. Milwaukee Bucks versus Los Angeles Lakers. So gonna finally see what this Lonzo Ball is all about. this season has been off to a very bizarre start. Like, just like the Celtics doing amazing with Kyrie, and the Cavs being this complete disaster. The Bulls are. Oh, did you see the funniest thing was on com/NBA? They had. It was like the Bucks. Okay, Reddit goes by. How do you even find the... It was something, it was like a... Oh yeah, the Bucks ticket package disrespecting Bulls roster. This is so funny. Like, you know, I guess for... I'm not too sure what this is. I think you pick seats or something, but they have... Oh, you know what it is? So you can buy seats for games, like the different dates. So I'm going to see this one. No, wait, what? There should be a Lakers game here. Anyway, and oh, right, down here, November 11th. So they, for each of them, they have the player, and for the Bulls, it's the mascot. Like, you know, each of these are like, they're like the face of the franchise. James, Irving, Harden, Kawhi, Ball, and Curry, and like, but it's true. Like my favorite Butler is gone. Dwayne Wade is gone. I still associate like Joakim Noah and Rose with like, I think it's from because I play so much of NBA 2015, or at least I used to, right? Like when I think of Bulls, I think of Butler, Noah, Rose. It's brutal. This is really intentional too. Like, what? Vince Carter is the face of the Kings? Holy shit, this guy is still playing. Jeez. He must be like... Because he was huge when I was a kid in Toronto. The Flying V. And, wow. That's, yeah. I think he might be the oldest. He's a 20-year veteran. Wow, yeah. All right, so the topic that I wanted to get to before I got sidetracked. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see to go to my first NBA game. Need to I only have gray t-shirts, so I gotta find some dark green to wear. Oh yeah, so it was just my because I talked about the finance discussion, and I wanted to kind of go, you know, because some people are like, well, would you ever get a part-time job to make extra money on the side? And I want to be careful about answering this question, because I don't want to come across as like, oh, you know, I'm above working a part-time job, or that's stupid, right? So I didn't want to answer on YouTube because I didn't think I would come across well or right. You know, I didn't want to like miscommunicate what I'm trying to say. So then the other thing is yeah, I think like last time we were talking about something similar. We had somebody coming in, and I think he was kind of trolling me, but you know, he was like, oh, like, why don't you get a part-time job at the grocery store? or whatever, right? And so but that's just not the so okay, like working at a grocery store or I mean the yeah, with a part-time job it would take a long time, right? And it's about maximizing your own skill set. So um yeah, I'm not like trivializing work at a grocery store, but for me what would garner me the most like dollars per hour job is something like in design or programming, because that's like that pays more. um right, I think if I were working at like a grocery store or something, I probably could be getting paid like $10 an hour, whereas if I were doing design or programming, we'd be looking at like 30 to 100, depending on where. 30 would actually be kind of on the low end. So it's like, okay, so that would be the stuff that I'm most suited for. So that is the stuff that I should be looking for work in. The problem is like, it's not like you just sign up and you just start getting work right away. Like it's this thing that it is like to procure contract work on the side is basically a full-time job in and of itself, right? Because you basically have to be ready sort of at like a moment's notice. And usually that stuff is about 20 hours a week. And I've had this experience too, like working with other people where it's like, if they're not, like I've had people part-time, and if they're putting in only, like 4 to 8 hours a week, it ends up actually costing me more time and energy to kind of manage that, because now all of a sudden you're kind of setting work aside for them and then you're waiting on that, right? So it's like, I think most contract works, even if they're not full-time, they're usually at least 20 hours a week, unless it's sort of, this thing's already done and you're just kind of maintaining it. Right, and it's just, there's not like, I would not be able to finish, like the game is already taking me 60, 70 hours a week, and I'm struggling to kind of get it done. And even for me, the context switching within the game is difficult as it is. So for me, the optimal, and it's not like I've sat down and done calculations, right? But the optimal route is really to finish what I've got, to finish the game and ship it, because that would put me both in a better position to negotiate. Like if I were to go work on another game, and they're like, well, what have you done? It's like, well, yeah, I've been working on this game and I never finished it. Versus like, oh yeah, I finished this game, made it with Unity. It's now on PS4 and Steam, and feels like I have all that experience. That would be a much better use of my time. So for me, the most important thing right now, my most important resource is actually my time. Plus, especially right now where I'm like bringing on other people, you'd have to have like, it's like if I had a part-time job, the amount would have to compensate both like how much I have to pay for others and the time that's lost doing it. So yeah, I just wanted to explain, because I've had, we've had a few people bring up this question, why don't you get a part-time job on the side, right, or whatever. And I just want to kind of clarify, yeah, I'm not saying that working part-time or getting contract work is bad, right? But it's sort of not the optimal course for me to take at this moment. Yeah, and I think working on a full-time job this game would just never get done. Like, you can do that. I mean, people do do contract work and make a game on the side, or they have a full-time job and they develop a game on the side. But that's sort of something you kind of start with at the beginning, and you'd have like your game would have be scoped out for that. Yeah, and the other thing is, I think Praetorian brought up the point, like it would actually take more time, but also the other thing is, you know, I mentioned I would probably be getting paid the most in a similar field like programming, design, and that is, I don't know if I would be able to continue working on the game outside of like that. That's very difficult, and I think it's you know, because you're sort of using the same muscles, right? So in some ways it's almost better to do something completely different and then to come back to that. But my friend Greg has written a piece about game development. Sure. Game. Yeah. It's like a letter to the hobbyist on the ledge. Oh, I think, hey, he redid his website. Which I think is good. Oh, hey, you gotta... Sorry. You need to be approved. Yikes. Oh, we should listen to the Bastion soundtrack today. It has been a while. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to answer that. I said I would make a video about it, so I might just cut out what I said, put it in its own video. What did they do with Bastion and Transistor? And hello, Gone Viking. Oh, and also my friends, my fellow Chicago friends, actually just announced a release date for their game. It just means if you're a regular, it just means you can post. It just means you can post links without without getting axed. There's a exclamation mark Romanians. So I want to check out this. So this is another Chicago game. I've been, they've been working on the game for just as long as I have, I think, or maybe even longer. Yeah, this is from Trinket Studio, presented by Adult Swim. You guys might have seen me talk about this before. All right, let us hit play. Oops, I did not mean to mute it. Hey, Spectralic and Anthony Sturdy.
Meet Mina. Meet Mina. She ran away. She ran away. I thought you were dreaming. Now she battles beasts. Cooks them to perfection. And serves the judges.
Exactly what I want.
Outstanding. Mina on wins. Do you have the chops to join the brigade? Battleship Brigade. Available November 20th on Nintendo Switch and PC.
This is Unity, yes. In fact, I am getting the same guy who did the voice to do the Manifold Garden trailer. In a world where you can change gravity, one person, you, hello, Tears. Hello, Chris and Zena and Jackamus and Anthony. What's up? All right, so remove the side and floor lights in Mandela room. Yeah. Wow, you gotta change gravity. Okay, so in this case, we're just gonna move it like it. So it ended up just being too bright with that. You know, I really liked it, but it was like really hard to see these pieces. So I decided to just, we'll keep it on the side walls. I'm not even sure about the side because I think it might grab too much attention away. But we'll see. If players are missing it, we'll have to play around with it for a bit. But definitely for now, we are changing it. Yeah, so you see what I mean? Like it's sort of really easy to miss these pieces on the floor. So, oh right, we're supposed to be listening to Bastion. So what's everybody's plan for the weekend? And just because I think some people are showing up a little bit later, I've been posting these sort of short YouTube videos. So if you like today, I made they're about 10 minutes long. I'm just explaining like how some system works in Manifold Garden. It's kind of like a because I know I do upload archives of the stream, but not everybody wants to watch like a 2 hour long stream archive. So this is kind of like a 10-minute thing that's a little bit more concise. So feel free to follow. How did I learn to write shaders? I was doing OpenGL stuff. That's how I started it. But you can also just check out the Unity documentation and reverse engineer shaders. That's probably the best way, I think. Watch the last MotoGP. Oh yeah, man, I try to I got the game, but it's really hard. Motorcycle games there. I mean, it's basically on rails, but you have to it's just really hard to get the timing, and I was crashing all the time. And it made me appreciate how games like Grand Theft Auto or Sleeping Dogs handle the motorcycles. Right? Very unrealistic, but you can manage to play. Will there be music? Of course. Dreamstone from Windy Beard is out? Is that a game? Yeah, I think this is a little bit better. It was just too bright before. Oh yeah, thanks, Tears. Release 2018. It's you know, it's become an annual tradition for Manifold Garden development, which is I update the release year. It's 2015, then 2016, then 2017, now 2018. But oh my god, we are getting there. Ah, that's right. I forgot the central pillar holes. That's right. I actually, what was I talking about in the? Yeah, it only happens in the editor though. So. God damn, there's like 3 pieces. We're just gonna have to ignore the Z fighting. Sorry, guys. It's too much work to remember which one it is, and actually, it does really bother me. There we go. Well, it's not. It doesn't have the texture. It's really there more for the collider. To be honest, there's a reason why it's there. I don't remember, but I did when I set it up. I did do so for. They were for purpose of reasons. So yeah, anyway, Battle Chef Brigade coming out. Super happy for Trinket. They've been working super hard on that game many years. There's like a lot of people have worked on it. There's sort of 3 of them full time. They've had a lot of artists. So there's been something on my mind lately, and I wanted to, maybe some of you guys might know a bit more about this and can shed some light. But there was this, I read this article recently about this company, this startup that closed, and it's about the Doppler Labs. It's a really good story. And it kind of got me thinking about like the similarities with game development. And again, so I don't know anything about the startup world. Basically, it talked about, they were doing kind of these like, it's kind of like Apple earbuds before Apple earbuds, like augmented reality headphones, it does like real-time translation or stuff. And they closed, and they nobody wanted to buy them. So they talked about how they got like 50 million in funding, and then in the end they had to shut down. I was just wondering, like, when they get funding like that, do the founders just take a big salary, and how do they do that? Because there's a lot more publishers in the indie game space now, and a lot of them will fund development from the beginning. I think there was like, 5 years ago, there weren't that many publishers, and the ones that were there, usually what they did was like, they took a 30% cut and they did marketing for you. So you still kind of funded development yourself, but they did all the marketing and management and stuff. And then after that, they would recoup whatever money they spent. So the publishers still kind of got a good deal, right? Because they would, like, if they didn't give you money, but if they spent 50,000 making a trailer, they would make that money. They would make the 50,000 back first, and then it's a 30-70 split. 30 to the publisher, 70 to the developer. But now I'm seeing a lot more deals where it's like closer to 50-50 split. But they also give you, they'll give you a big chunk of money up front. So it might be like 200,000 or something, 200,000-300,000 to pay you to develop the game, or like a stipend or whatever. And my question is, well, do you charge market rate for that? Because like, the last time I talked, which is about a year or two ago, when I was like looking for other developers, programmers to kind of help me out, a lot of them are when you were kind of at a game studio, a junior developer, 2-3 years out of school, you're making about 72,000 plus benefits, give or take. So if you're indie, you might have a team that's 2 or 3, right? Which doesn't sound unreasonable. That doesn't seem very big. So, 2 to 3, if you're doing it 1 year, 70,000 each, which is already kind of maybe like the low end of market rate, at least here in the US, since, you got to cover your own health insurance and all that. That's like what, 210,000, let's just say 200,000 for 1 year. So do you take, like, are you for that supposed to take just 400,000 from the pub to do the split? I mean, obviously you want to take as much money as you can, but I imagine the rates would, but there's sort of this like negotiation thing, right? It's like at some point then their rates have to be higher, or they have to be, the revenue share is more aggressive for them. or you know, obviously they would recoup all that money first, right? So the game would have to make at least 400,000 before you see any profit. So yeah, and anyway, I'm just kind of, I don't know what the answer is. Maybe you're asking too much, and it's like 2 or 3. That's so small. I see teams that are closer to like 4 or 5 these days. You know, Firewatch was like 8. So, I mean, 8 people full time. Even if everybody was only making 50K a year, it's still 400,000. Or are the devs supposed to like forego a salary? Yeah, just a thought. I don't have answers, right? Because I don't have a publisher right now, so it is, you know, I mean, after the store cut, well, I got to pay back the investors, but after the store cut, I get, I would get that, but like I don't know. I mean, if you can be comfortable, you don't kind of have to do my thing where I'm basically have like a basically lead a very frugal lifestyle to keep the burn rate low. And that's like fine when you're 25 and you don't have kids or a mortgage, but definitely I can see, you know, as I'm getting older, like I would much prefer sort of stability than the risks that are involved, you know. Oh wait, Lena, you're also a developer? I think I knew that. Oh no, wait, I knew that. Didn't I host? Yes. Why? There was just like a disconnect between I think seeing your username and yeah, I don't know why I. Anyway, yeah, I'm wondering about that. You know, if you do another game, like, cause I don't have another idea for another game, and I don't want to announce anything too early, but I am definitely seeing how making another game would be way easier. I can reuse all the systems I've done, and in fact, I'm very, very tempted to do an orthographic game with the edge detection shader. Just knew how we keep the save system, we keep the level loading system. Like we reuse all of the shaders, and just make another game. Yeah, by the way, so Lena Lux is another streamer. You guys should check out her stream. Wait, what do I have to keep secret? Like imagine Monument, like Tokyo 42 with the edge detection, with the edges. Because I love to do like an orthograph, like a game like Tokyo 42 where you just walk around, you go hang out, you go to restaurants with friends, you go on dates, you go grocery shopping. It's like The Sims, but less microtransaction-y. Yeah, I mean, we can switch. Our shader does work with it. I mean, it just looks so good. And I'm like, oh man, so I've spent so much time like learning about the PS4 process and doing UI and game saving and game loading and level loading and I'm like, man, I can just use all if I make another game, I don't have to write those systems from scratch. It's gonna be so sweet. I would want an artist. I would want an artist and a graphics programmer. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know if like the ideal composition is so much about roles, but people like I'd love to work with Ezra. I think his style is no, you just run around killing people in Tokyo 42. But I would want that, like, the sort of the Tokyo 42 aesthetic with the edges, but something more like Else Heartbreak. I love The Sims. I have all of Sims 3, but I don't know. There's some of their design choices I'm not super happy with. But I like games where you just like walk around a city and get to know people and kind of live there. To me, that's really fun. Third person, yeah, Manifold Garden 2 is a third person Sims like. After 5 years, something finally clicked. Yeah, I just think, yeah, I'd like to have a more of a collaborative process. Like I'm there are people helping me out, but they're more kind of taking directions from me, and I do kind of give them space in which to work, but we're not so much like making a game together. Whereas I think it'd be really cool to work with someone like Ezra from day one and just sort of like let the game itself be a product of that collaboration, as opposed to being like, oh, it's my vision. But yeah, like I think you don't see this. No, you do see it in some strategy games. But anyway, I love the color scheme and I love the art style here. So who else in the chat does development streaming? I know Lena does. Who else? I don't think. Ezra is another dev streamer. If you do stream, do let me know, because I definitely want to swing by. %. Where you're coming from, this is a weird subculture in game dev. Yeah, I don't, you just can't compete. Like, it's so much, because even with like there's the Young Horses, they made Octo that. They're working on another game. They've got 8 people, right? And so if you just think of like person weeks as sort of a productivity thing, in 1 week, they can do something that would take me 2 months to do, right? And they don't have to. Nobody in the team needs to switch between contexts. Sometimes I talk to the Kevin, and he's like, oh, game development it's not difficult. I get to do exactly what I want. And I'm like, yes, that's because you only have to do programming. Like, you don't have to worry about the marketing stuff, and that's so nice. And I'm really envious of that, like being able to kind of pick one thing that you're good at, that you enjoy, and just focusing on that, and then knowing that you have teammates who can take care of other things, instead of being like, okay, if I'm doing programming, no design is getting done, and having to kind of come back, like just having the game being worked on in parallel with a number of people would be awesome. you know, that's not to say that that working with a team doesn't have its challenges. It definitely does. But I think, especially in the current climate, they outweigh the benefits. The pros outweigh the cons. I don't know. I think this level works as well. So let's go. Let's generate additive duplicate scene. Jed, you know you have a Twitch account, right? I think he usually watches with his audio off. So I'm gonna... Well, only if it's their specialty. But it would be nice, and definitely as I've gone, you know, work on this game, I've worked on everything and all aspect of it, and I would say I definitely enjoy level design more than any of the other tasks. So that's been good to learn about myself. So yeah, if I were to work with other people, I think definitely an artist. You know, I'm like, yeah, I know my skills in art are not. I can do like art direction, but not actually make stuff. Or, you know, I'm not as skilled with 3D modeling. Well, not skilled at all with any of the 3D modeling programs. So it'd be great to work with an artist. It'd be awesome to work with the programmer, although I could probably still do that as well, especially having gone through this. I would sort of pick something more within my own scope, like having load screens. Not having load screens is really difficult. But yeah, for me, the ideal would be working with a programmer and an artist, and then me focusing on design. Oh, you know what? You know why this is broken? It's because I commented out the script. So Mandela controller, right? Oh, well, either I actually uncommented it, but I did not save it. You know, I'm not sure if the level of control is all that great. There are risks, you know, especially if you're starting out. If you're working with other people, because you don't always find people that are as committed. So, you know, you could start a project and then they leave, and then you're stuck with it and you can't finish. So, I think maybe doing like a bunch of small projects solo first and then working with the team can be helpful, because then you maybe understand a bit about how you prefer to work, how you'd like to work, what you're good at, and then you can have that discussion with the other person, right? So like I feel, especially once I ship Manifold Garden, I think I'll be in a much better position to choose who I want to collaborate with. Like not just because, okay, now I've sort of proven myself with making this game and maybe people want to work with me, but also, like I said, I've got a better understanding of what works well for me, and so the more games. Sure, but you know, if you do one game, like a small game first on your own, you're at least like, oh, okay, I know how to do it, right? You know, like I'm talking like several weeks to 3 months thing, just so you've done that a bit. I think for me, Manifold Garden has really been more of a test of endurance than anything else. The color changing mechanics working with those cubes now? Yes, those work. What doesn't work is when you upgrade to double gravity, but that's not Well, I mean, are they I mean, is that revenue or are there expenses? You gotta stop. I know that I struggle with that. I've talked about it. People who've watched this stream for a while know that's like, I think every other day. It matters up to a certain level, right? But like, I think for me, it's you know, what I need to do is finish this game for a lot of for my own sake, for the game, for the sake of the game. You know, it's scary in the market. It's not as visually unique as I'd like, or you know, there's all these problems, right? And it can be scared to release it, but I feel like not release. But I feel like it's still in my favor to release, right? There's hey, that one compass, thank you. That's the stone compass. Thanks for the subscription. The horse. So like, so much work has been put into it, and I feel like if I were to quit now, it would just, I think I'd have a really bad reputation in the game industry. You know, everyone's just like, oh, ooh, that should not save. Actually, I need to test that. Can you save in this level? Oh, huh. Actually, I did. Interesting. No, so that is a bug. Okay, yeah, we need to... but I'm gonna work on that a little bit later. Okay, so we've removed the side and far lights, so let's make a game playable through to World 002. Yeah, you know, like the thing that I struggle with is I spent 5 years, and so, you know, sometimes you see the 30 under 30 that comes out, which, by the way, that's all just friends voting for each other, so this is really kind of silly. But, you know, you're like, oh man, like these people work in a studio, and this guy works at Ubisoft, and now he's like a director of communications, and you're like, man, if I worked at a job, then I could have gotten like raises and promotions. But I think it's important to remember kind of like what's more important to you at the end of the day. Which Mandela hole? Let's sort that out. How have I made a living? Well, oh, hey. Thanks, Jet. Living is a generous word. I've gotten some funding from Indie Fund and have basically just been super frugal. So we talked about that. And we got the video finances, right? So part of that was basically just betting, like, okay, you know, I was 25 when I started and I didn't have any problems. Like, we could, the worst case is I'm a broke 30-year-old, which is not ideal, but it's also not the end of the world. So and so I've just kept the burn rate really low. It's added up over the years, but yeah, that's right. You could take it all the way to completion where it could be shipped, then do a final. Okay, if I give it a month extra. Hey, that's true. That's not bad. But I don't want to get myself, it's like if you start, you know what I mean? If you start thinking like that, I feel like, because I've been thinking like that for a long time, so you got to be careful. I'm definitely, the nice thing about having a producer on board is they're very, like, I meet with her every Monday, and she's really good, because I was like, oh man, how about like the Switch? Do you think we should start that? And she's like, you're not starting the Switch until after you ship. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So that's kind of nice. Yeah, I don't want to start getting into the mindset where I'm, the thing is you do it once, then you do it again, and then then like 2 years go by, and you're like, okay, 2020, this is it. Like, we can totally ship before the PlayStation 6 cycle is over, and yeah, I mean that is pretty sweet, but for me, I think I'm going for like the early 2018 time, which and the problem now is there's so many Steam sales. Like if you're not right, like you don't want to do holiday season because that's all the AAA games coming out. You don't want to do like around Halloween because that's like the Halloween sale. You probably don't want to do around GDC because a lot of journalists are there. That doesn't really matter so much to like gamers maybe, but you want to give yourself the best opportunity, right? And then summer, you got the Steam summer sale, so yeah, it is. You don't want to do right before that, you don't want to do right after that. So like February, barring, I don't know, Uncharted 5 coming out or whatever, or like Valve announcing Half-Life 3, I think I should be okay. Or really, I think if they announce Portal 3, that could go either way for me. Because then maybe people are like, oh, I'm so excited about puzzle games again. I want more. Or they're like, oh, why play this game when you could just play Portal 3? Was I initially? I wasn't. I didn't start that early. I think when I was starting, there were up until like, I don't know. I feel like up until 2 years ago, people were definitely still considering PS3. I know there are some devs that are locked into Vita. Like they got to make this game for Vita, and that sucks, right? Because that's done. Well, the problem though is you'll basically ruin Christmas. You're gonna be working up until then, right? Yeah, Ezra, I don't know. Hear the did you hear me going on and on about how I'd love to work with you? The thing about like developer funding these days, and you know how a lot of them kind of want to basically pay for development, and it's making me wonder how well, you know, just like future games, because like it's making me wonder, you know, do you, so they give you like a big chunk up front. I think there are a few publishers that'll, you know, we're talking like 200,000-300,000, but for a pretty aggressive revenue share, and obviously they recoup first and then it's 50-50. And as a dev, are you supposed to be like charging the market rate, which, you know, is like 70,000 per person or more, and you have to cover your own like health insurance and all that, and like office space, right? So which, because then that brings your budget, basically you're looking at like $500,000 for a small team. So like 2 to 3 people for 2 years is $500,000. Like, how is that, is that what one should be? I mean, obviously that's just like, that's just the reality. That's like the true cost of game development. But it's making me wonder, you know, with these publishing deals, what are you, what's like the way to go there? I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, kind of thinking about what I want what I want to do for my next game. Because it would be nice to sort of mitigate some of the risk. Do they have those though? But like, how much? You know, like Canada's got them. Canada's got some interesting deals from the government. It's a little weird though, but because like you have to provide half the capital, so you have to get a publisher to put up half. But what I've been told that is good about the Canadian funding is they don't recoup first, so you split the money together, right? So the revenue comes in and it's half. You know, it's like 50-50 revenue share, but you start making that money, so they don't recoup first, which is interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna do another game or what it will be. Just more thinking about like the logistics of that. Yeah, I think that's like a little bit better. I mean, I'm not even sure about this, but I feel like it draws too much attention away. Players aren't looking at the floor, they're looking up. But is there anybody that provides that? You know, the thing is, there's no way I can start the prototype before I finish this project. And it's not, you know, if I were to, like, the thing is, for me to burn the time would be the easiest thing, right? Because it's like, I just pay, it's my current, like, there's no, starting the prototype for the next project right now would not be good for me. That would not be a very good use of my time. Hey, bit 7. That definitely did not show up until I went in. All right, we got a few bugs we need to work on, so. Yeah, that's yeah, I would say that's only kind of something that a bigger studio can do. Oh yeah, yeah. If it were a bigger studio, I would definitely do that so you don't burn time. But yeah, for me, yeah. So, but they're broken, right? Because the one that's not like this is showing the one for me, but the 11 one is not out here. It's like no, no. See that needs to appear early on. Oh yes, Ezra. We got a few dev streamers. Ezra, Lena _ Lux. Go check them out. Oh fuck. Okay, I am going to take a quick 5-minute break. We'll come back, and so what I want to do next, so we will, this is something I want to work, so this, and let's fix the Mandela system, like color for base of other levels is wrong. And they don't show up right away. So yesterday afternoon, I was like, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, and I ended up taking a nap and coming back half an hour later. So, this time it's gonna be 5 minutes, yeah, for real. All right, I did not fall asleep this time. Oh yeah, we're gonna improve the crosshair. Not that. I know. I wish I gotta get Ezra's Spotify playlist. He does have much better musical taste than I do. Okay, so let's take a look at it. So basically, the Mandela controller that it saves. Where does it? It's the update. Okay, so we got a few things we can get rid of. Interesting. Okay. Object reference not set to an instance. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete some of these things that we don't need. I actually only got Spotify like 2 weeks ago. So what is this? Like so debug? Okay. Okay, so this is called every time you enter update miniature button state. It's called when you enter a single Mandela controller, and when this is called, it does on Mandela data update. I believe where do we do this? So yeah, we add it to every Mandela update callback is added to Mandela Manager update callback. Where is this? Where is this? Where is it? On Mandela data update. Okay, right. When this is called, data manager update calls that. Okay, right. And so let's see here. This is what is this? Callbacks, delegates are very useful, but really dangerous. It's like playing with fire. I feel like I definitely used to call this somewhere else. Enable all Mandelas? Oh. Yeah, you know what? This is definitely... Okay. This needs to be called every time you enter. Yeah, I think you know what the problem is it shouldn't be calling this, it should be calling the callback so everybody gets called. fact, I think we also need to do it. Update miniature world button present state. Update does. Hold on 1 second. This goes down to here. No, this goes down, and I think this does. This tells update miniature world button present state. Yeah. Now, what is the null reference? Names of levels that are active in. So hold on a second. So if you look on log, this is a list count or length. I always get these confused. We will find out right now. Count.toString. Do I often design parts of the game on the fly while developing, or do you have all the design down already? I have the... well, now is not really the most... This is not reflective of like my typical process because we're pretty much done with the game and are trying to just get it to ship. So I'm not making... I usually like to... During the prototype phase, I do that, but not so much now. Like now the design, the game design is done. I'm just making sure things are working the way they're supposed to. That is, well, the way we do it is the dictionary. So it's names of levels that are active in Mandela controller. So you've got that room with the little miniature models that you can like shrink down into. Those only appear for levels that you have visited. Like each level has that room, that little temple room, which is our fast travel area. And only if you've been to that does that level become available for fast travel. Now we don't, but each Mandela controller isn't able to store the data globally, right? So what we do is we keep, every time you enter that level, we add the, we take a list, we put the name in a list that the game manager manages, and then it just checks to see if your name is in that list. There's probably better ways to do that. But that's how we do it. So yeah, now I'm not doing so much like when I'm programming, it's because something's broken and I'm trying to fix it. During a prototyping stage, though, there would be programming kind of done alongside the design. But I also don't have all the design. Like there's still a lot of tweaks that need to get done. So yeah, when I'm programming, it's now is to fix problems and design. It's all there. It's just a lot of tweaking. You can see actually if we fly out here. I think one of the rooms is all. Yeah, you can see that room is sort of messed up because I'm like changing the size of that. It is the dictionary that threw the... Is it the dictionary? Usually, if it's... With dictionaries, isn't it just like the key not found? Whew. No, let's just shrink into it. Might as well test that. Besides, it looks cool. Like the dictionary doesn't exist. That's weird. Huh. Oh, looks like you're right. That is strange. Okay, so looks like we... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why are we doing it on enabled? What the hell music is this? Oh, Crypt of the Necrodancer. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. This needs to do it here. But yeah, these should not be here. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't recall doing this, so somebody else might have. This should not be doing here. We have this. Oops. No, that is weird. I very rarely initialize stuff inside on enable. I'm not sure why it got put there. Especially because you only have to do it once, whereas like we are constantly disabling and enabling objects, so that is strange. I don't think we ever do. Yeah. This is like code review with 60 people. I need to obviously change up those levels so it's not the same ones over and over again. looks good. Now let's get to the next level. Adding a hotkey clip for no key was one of the best things I did during development. Wasn't even my idea. I used to have this, we have to pull up like a console and type it in. And one of our viewers, Matthew Vandavander, was like, please. I think he bugged me about it for a few months. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that's fixed. The only thing is the color is wrong. Which is the key is in Mandela controller 540. Oh, the base of the color, it shouldn't be white. It's supposed to be purple. But we'll come back in a bit. Like it's sure white at first, but then it's supposed to be like that. So the Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Okay, so we have Mandela controller line 540. What the hell? I know, I think what I need to do is... I think so. Can at least figure out which name is not working. Oh, I wonder if huh. I think I might know what happened. What's your native language? Hungarian. Wait a bit, because we're still adding stuff. So we might tweak things. I'll do like a translation round, closer to release. Yeah, exactly. Like I want to go in and fill out the details, and then people can have a build of the game that they can be like, oh, I see what this is trying to do. Because sometimes we have like I use save as it's a noun and a verb. Save game save, and it's not always clear when it's just a word alone. I think which one's being used. Yeah, or like there might even be better ways, like maybe they say slot or something instead of, like they don't use the word save. So right, yeah, exactly. Things like that. So man, I'm definitely gonna add no clip. Yeah, we have, I think somebody started on a Norwegian translation. It's like we're missing Spanish, but we've got Dutch and Norwegian, so what the hell? Mandela? The heck? Why does this not belong in the dictionary? Many steps optimized. Oh, this is hold on. Yeah, that would be awesome. What is this? We just have I think anybody can add to that. We're gonna do, I mean, once it's done, we'll do like a full thing, but you can, I think there's just a whole bunch of these. So names of levels that are active in Mandela controller. Add level name. It's actually another dictionary that I'm looking at. Hey, thanks for the subscription. Creepy horse time. So you don't know it, this is from the TV show Peep Show. That is so weird. Optimized. Because it is... hold on a second. You know what? I need to know on enter, and this is... I need to know which Mandela controller am I entering? Game object.name. So it is telling me that level to miniature button dictionary. And this is the dictionary of level name to miniature button inside this Mandela controller. Oh, what? It should be. Yeah, you know what? It should be done in cache references. So what I'm interested in is what this is 542, and I need to see like debug.log. Is this? Oh, I think we never actually do anything with this. No. Me too. World button. Mini world button, yeah. So this is telling me something spelled wrong? What's going on here? Debug.log. Can you do like... Is there a count for... get the number of keys. So it did his dot count. So it should be 3. So let's try this again. Actually, you know what? Let's. Hey, Port Punky, what's up? Okay, I wanna. Let me see what the deal is. I wonder if this if the cache references is not getting called. So I wanna finish this on today's stream at the very least. Oh, we are not. We are listening to the Machinarium. Not sure. It's just kind of this like that world shrinking effect isn't working the way it's supposed to, and it seems to have something to do with the key not being in a dictionary. But it looks like it's more that the dictionary is not getting set up, which makes it a bigger problem. Means like, so all of our objects have a cache reference step. You know, we don't use like Unity's awake or start. But so I'm just a little bit confused about why it's not working properly. I think we fixed it actually. I think we fixed it. Okay, so it's just making sure that this is getting the color correct. Huh. Okay, now why is it not getting the color? Hey, what's ketchup? Thank you. For those of you who are not familiar with the GDC talk, you're welcome to check it out. Yeah, thanks, man. Let me know if you have any questions about it. So you learned about the game. Yeah, I'm really glad I did that talk because so many people were like, oh, I had no idea there was gameplay to this game, and now I understand or have a better idea. It took a long time for me to prepare, so I'm really glad that so many people liked it. The Lord works in mysterious ways, Prime TNT. Set base color to gravity icon. Oh yeah, the that's the control talk. That one was good too, but I messed up the timing. Like I had 40 slides and 10 minutes left at the end, so I had to rush through it. But all right, so what we're doing here is we are just having it set the base color when it turns on. Now I wonder if the only problem is we're fading it in, so I'm hoping that doesn't mess up. Update. Yeah, if it's fading in, on trigger, enter. All right, thank you, the Stone Compass. Really appreciate that. I will see you later. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks again for the subscription. All right, so hopefully this works. There might be a problem with it, with us fading it in. But I think I have a way around that. Okay, I'm gonna hit play. Let's go. Let's see this. We're gonna have to come back and redesign this level at the very end because it's the first level I made, but as I've made the other levels, I've gotten much better at it. And you do want to do your opening. Yes! Yep, that is correct. Okay, guys. We have that working now, so I'm gonna wrap up today's stream. I'll probably be back again later tonight, but I think it's been almost 2 hours. This is a good place to wrap up for now. And I will yeah, so we can knock this item off the list. Now the next thing would be saving an audio visual level. So that should be fairly straightforward. Basically, when we check out that weird thing, we can save it, but when we load, it's not continuing. And I think I know what the problem is because I just fixed something related last week. So, all right, so I'm gonna work on this. I've got a meeting at 6 o'clock. I'm gonna take a break, work on this for a bit, push these changes. Well, push these changes, take a break. No, I'm gonna take a break, push these changes, work on some of this saving loading thing, have this meeting, then dinner. So I'll probably be back around like 8, 9 p.m. In case we'll be back on tomorrow Friday. There's not going to be a stream this weekend. But anyway, if you like the stream, you should follow the channel. And I'm also on Twitter and YouTube. On YouTube, I've started doing a series of short videos. So if you miss a stream or something, I've got these little videos they're about 10 minutes long where I go over some thoughts on game development or like explain how the system works. I think this is something you guys might be interested in. Oh, and of course, we have the Manifold Garden Steam store page. You can add the game to your wish list. Okay, I'll see you all later.